breathing for focus and concentration. Has anybody trained you how to hold your attention, how to concentrate? Or do you find when you're doing something that even though you're doing your best to put your attention on it, that your mind constantly wanders? Now, this is a skill that really should have been taught in our school. Because of course, when you're going through the school system and university and into the corporate world or whatever you do, we need concentration. But yet, nobody seems to be teaching us how to concentrate. I had very poor concentration. And if you have poor concentration, it's really frustrating because it takes a lot of time then to learn things. Because if you're reading text, but your attention isn't on what you're reading, well then by the time you get to the bottom of the page, you have to do it again and again and again. I think you get my drift. Your capacity to hold your attention on one thing can be trained. But in order to get to that point, sleep quality must be pretty good. And what I mean by that is that your breathing during your sleep should be free-flowing, without restriction, in and out through the nose, light, slow and deep. With that as well is to practice self-regulation. So in other words, as we go about our day, not to be totally in a constant state of stimulus, because that can often put us into a fight or flight response. And if we're in a fight or flight response, well, concentration is going to be out the window. So we talk about sleep quality for energy and ability to hold our attention. But we also talk about the balance of the autonomic nervous system, and that's the automatic functioning of your body. If you have poor sleep, and if you're in a constant state of fight or flight, concentration is impacted. So the third aspect then, of course, is paying attention to your breathing, slowing your breath, improving blood flow to the brain, getting out of your head. There's a few ways to get out of your head. One is practice breathe light from the oxygen advantage. Number two is to bring your attention fully into the body. In other words, not just be ahead, but disperse your attention throughout the body. Number three, bring all of your senses. Bring your attention into present moment awareness. So if you want to appreciate life, and I will say this because at 51 years of age, I spent 25 years stuck in my head. It's not a nice place to be. And 50% of the time, we as human beings, we are stuck in our head. We are lost in thought. And of course, there is the time to think. But more importantly, do you have the capacity, do you have the power to be able to put the critical mind aside, to put the thinking mind aside, to direct your attention to what you want to direct it upon? That's what we do with Oxygen Advantage. That's what we do with Buteyko Clinic. And that's what we do with MyoTape. These are tools for you to develop your concentration. It's something that can be trained. And if you can strengthen your concentration, you will find that things come easier to you. Your mind is quieter. Fresh and original thinking comes into being. And what's more important, you're going to be happy because you're not going to be bombarded with the 50, 60,000 thoughts per day. And of that, probably 90% of them are useless, repetitive, and self-critical. So the mind can be a friend or foe depending on what's going on in the mind. We have to pay attention to it and we have to get out of our head. Start off simple. Develop your concentration.